folks, welcome back to Timberborn, and I've had a few days away, so need to remember where I was. We are day 2 of the temperate cycle, so that's why our water supply is a little bit low, but that should bounce back. And last time we were working on getting this built up, so yeah. We'll have a look at how things go. I did actually, there was one suggestion that I quite liked, which was to replace a few of these with levees so that we keep this dry, this area up here dry. So we're going to get that done. Probably don't need the stairs there now. Also added back in the ladders mod, and we've got the time-lapse mod, so we're going to give setting that up a go once daylight comes. And we need to get this finished so that our dam retains its integrity. So we'll prioritize everything, because once everything's a priority, nothing is a priority. Actually, this is not a priority. It just needs to get done before the end of the cycle. So, yeah. We can probably, at this point, get rid of these paths. Although I had a few suggestions to replace these with sluices. At the moment, I'm not worried about replacing them, to be honest. We have a workable solution, and for now, I think that's good enough, you know. So I'm going to remove this path for now, just because we don't need it there. Yeah. So we could delete this path, which would allow the mangroves to spread. And when we need access, I did like the suggestion that we could come across and down here. So I'll leave the 2 staircases, but we'll have that if we need it. That can be paused now. A few suggestions as well about putting in dams across here. This is one of the very few things I tested before I started the series, and I found that I got some weird pulsing, which led to flooding across here, and actually flooding across here as well to the district centre. So I think if I wanted to, we'd have to do it, and I did it way back here. It just caused some weird behaviors, so I think if I wanted to do it, I'd want to do it right back here so we could make it deeper. But I want to wait and do what I actually have planned for kind of longer term. So I think what we'll do for some drought resilience is we'll put a stream gauge in. We'll automate this guy for now. And yeah, we've got our water storage reservoir once this is finished for pumping water as the droughts get longer. I'm kind of curious as to if we're going to see bad water in here. Possibly not unless we opened this up. But what I'm going to do is again throw in another stream gauge. Yes, I know I could throw in a loose and it would tell me without being built, but that's a bit cheesy and I don't need to cheese it, so we're going to do that. And we will continue with the building of the that's what we needed to do. We needed to find another source of scrap metal. That was going to be our priority. And the other thing is, one of you mentioned this narrowing down to be 1 wide. And I can't see that because that's 2 wide. That's then 3 wide. This is all 2 wide. unless I'm not understanding widths, because that's 3, that's way more than 3, that's not, that's more than 1 wide, and this is this is 2 wide here as a minimum, so I was kind of confused by that comment. Yeah, I think it's all at least 2 wide, and I guess maybe blasting this out would be useful because it would open up the flow through here where the water wheels are. But yeah, we need to find metal as a priority that's accessible. I guess actually that's not great, but not awful. It's a bit of a trek. It would be better with a tubeway, but short term, that's an option. Is it our best option? We've got that little bit there as well. Let's do both, I guess. Delete you. So we want a 2x bridge across there. So let's prioritize. This is probably closer, so let's do this one first. That gets us access to those bits. And a lot of dead trees. Also, eventually gets us to this water source. Once we get up here, we could get to this, although it's going to be a bit manky getting in there. Metal's kind of spread out on here, isn't it? We probably want to be looking... Well, I think the mines are not this side of the map. I've got the water layer turned off because I'm pretty sure they are in bad water. So there's that, but that's quite a long way off. As are those. There's the colony, so that's probably the closest mine. Mine's there. Yeah. So if we need a lot of science, we've got a decent amount of science. So I wonder, let's look at this. Let's look, and there's quite a lot of metal on the way over there as well. We've got a water source there, and we could just, in theory, just block that off. That would eventually dry that out. And while we wait, we could be making use of all of that metal. So I think what we do is we make use of these smaller deposits, get the game running, because we need them to be doing things. I'd quite like to finish this off, if I'm honest, so that we can permanentize our... Yes, that's a word. I speak English. I speak the Queen's English. I know words. So, yep. We're going to permanentize our power. We'll kind of cherry pick off these couple of little bits of metal to get us a bit more scrap metal. Alright, so we should be able to get that now. Yes, it's not the straightest path in the world, but not really a massive problem. So let's put a scrap metal flag there. These guys can go. We're good for logs. So I think we'll just leave that slightly kinky path. We'll pick off that. Let's prioritize building those. Not ideal by some stretch of imagination, but you know, here's what it is. And then we want to be thinking about getting all the way over there. So what I think we do is throw in and in the fullness of time we will look to hook it up to actually we can get the back of it, can't we? We'll hook it up to this one, but for now we won't. But we'll come around here like that. That means we can't get these trees now. Let's pause that. Let's unpause you. Let's cut down those two trees. How close is that one? It's 50%. I'm just going to rip that guy out. Actually going to change that. I think you've just no 10%. Yeah, you're going to go as well, and you're going to go. Let's prioritize those. You will respect my priority. Let's have a look down here. This we are going to prioritize so that it actually closes up, because otherwise that's just going to keep throwing water everywhere. This is looking more soupy like. Can get behind that. Yeah, right. So you can go away now. Thank you for your service. What I'm thinking is we put it there. I know that blocks a bunch of the ports, but there's always explosives. But it keeps more access. So, and in the fullness of time, we will make significantly more use of explosives in our construction of tubeways. But for now we are somewhat limited, and so we're headed there. I think I'm not too worried about stopping by that point, to be frank. Just why not be frank, eh? Unless it's Frank Butcher. You don't want to be that Frank Butcher anyway. Let's stop there. No, let's go that way, shall we? Yeah, let's go that way. I'm just thinking we could bump up and over there. Yeah, that would work. I would say I was worrying about a bunch of trees as well. I'm gonna deal with that bit. that's okay. Is it okay? Yeah, because that's really just being dictated by that random piece. So let's go all the way across to there. Let's throw that in preparation. That and that and that. There we go. Come on. There we go. Right. Lovely job. It's a heck of a lot of metal, but it gets us to a heck of a lot of metal. Yeah. And I don't have the tubeway bridges because we're not ember pelts, but we do have these and we do have science, so we could do that. So we could do that. We could pop up there. And then we probably need to rip out a bunch of trees. So let's put that there. In worst case, that would let us get to some of that scrap metal with some parts and stuff if we're out of metal, which we could be by then because that's an awfully long tubeway. So, yeah. Already into that section, so we should probably be thinking at the same time about this bit. This is the metal episode, and who doesn't like a bit of metal, hey? If the answer's you, you may have come to the wrong place. Should have kept that ladder because I could have put a lumberjack there. Cut out these dead trees, couldn't I? But I knew there was a reason to keep that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. But we can get those picked up and those picked up, and eventually we'll get that rebuilt. It's not like we're short of resources. And then we will delete the path. Throw in you and you. We don't have explosives unlocked yet, but we will at some point. And that gets us to that clump of metal, which looks reasonably substantial, actually. So, yeah. We're getting there on that. That may put pay to us building the bad water discharge because that's 200 metal. And I'm not comfortable expending that while we're metal poor. So, yeah. Oh well. The same with that, actually. I'm actually going to delete that. And we'll recover those metal blocks because we don't really need that desperately. Anyway, we've got to engine, so that should all be behaving as one big power grid. So worst case, we'll build another engine, which is a smaller amount of metal than, well, not a smaller amount of metal than the flywheel. but it's a more consistent supply of power if we need it. So, and although we can't build the discharge necessarily, we are getting to a clean supply of bad water with this, which we do need because that gets us explosives. Unless this is, yeah, that's only 32%, which is not awesome. So, not awesome. That's going to be a heck of a lot of metal to build. We are short some beavers, so we've got some injuries. How many injuries have we got? 4. We've only got 2 medical beds, so let's build a few more, I guess. Well-being, medical bed, there, and we don't have treated planks yet. Treated planks, metal, small amount of metal. No metal. I could hang that off of there. Anything wood-based I'm not too worried about building. There we go, that's better. I mean, here we go, Labourer Monument. We've got the science for it. I've added ladders in. They now do not conflict. So I thought they did. Which makes vertical building easier, obviously. I am tempted to go Labourer Monument there. So if we unlock ladders, throw that there. Ladder built there should let them build that. Let's prioritize them building that as well because the well-being boost will be really nice. I also liked the suggestion to swap some of this to eggplant. Eggplant rations need canola oil, so we need to plant some canola. So we'll plant a little bit of canola in there as well. There are so many kohlrabis that I think that makes sense. That's corn, yeah. I was thinking that we take half of that out. Like that. So that we can gain a bit more food well-being. They're making cracking progress with that. They're making some progress with that. They would make more progress with that one. Maybe if we put... No, they probably wouldn't actually because they can build it maybe a little bit more. We maybe risk stuck beavers, but let's give it a try for a bit of it. Yeah, once we've got explosives and tunnels, I would like to join these together. I think there's maybe a mod for tunnel tubeways. So it's only one metal block per. We're not plank limited, which is good, which means we've got enough to make 125 pieces, 200 tunnel pieces at the moment. Plus whatever extra scrap metal we can rip out before we get to where we're going. So that's not too bad, actually. The mine doesn't need metal, but does need treated planks. So we should start thinking about treated planks. Yeah, 17 well-being, nice. I'm thinking, as you can tell by the sound of my brain ticking slowly, that we come up here, we pull out the trees that are here, except those few alive pine trees. And let's prioritize the build of that. We need more beavers. Awesome, that's built. So that's probably what's giving us our nice well-being boost. I think we throw in some more housing because we can do. I think with these ladders we don't have to worry about blocking the entrance. I'm going to build one and check that. But I think that's the case with this version. I think it doesn't block entrances, but I could be wrong. Got some more metal down there as well. You have a drought approaching. I have worked out the graph of how much water I need to be storing for different length droughts. But don't have it handy. So. But what we can also think about doing is unlocking the triple platform and throwing in a couple of pumps, and we have these be unpause, pause, unpause, so the wrong way around. Let's prioritize the build of those. Yep. So let's just check. That's not been built yet. Okay, it's almost built. We're not actually short of beavers. We've just got lots doing science stuff. So actually we're fine. Let's just pause all of our inventors for now. And no, we're okay for beaverage. If they'd come and finish this, that would be lovely, so I can just remind myself that this is the case. Yep, awesome. I'm going to throw some more housing up here. So we will still want to expand our population soon. I know there's a mod to switch the food over. It's okay. I want to do it this way. Soybeans, canola, eggplant. We're going to need a press, so let's start building that. Yes, please. Still doing okay on that front. They are almost there with the tiny tubeway station. And right there it is. And then what I want to do is get that there. Bear with me as the drought hits. Dries up all the bad water. 23 days, so we're starting to get into some slightly meaty droughts. Right, you're done, so you can go away. Put that there. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit annoying that that does dry that out, so we're going to need to irrigate this area. Right. Awesome, so we're pumping water now, so we'll see how that goes. Canola. Eggplants. There we go. Thank you. But we want to advanced attach to engage Bosch. Pause above. Go for like yeah, unpause below. Yep, that'll do. This means I don't have to think about that. They're doing fine. That's doing fine. Swimming pool's almost built. Awesome stuff. They're working on building this. This path can go away now. And let's get rid of that. Excellent. We've still got a good supply of metal and stuff. They've got 38 metal left there. We've got quite a few beavers. So I'm going to come over here and start taking down this scrap metal. And then we'll go see what that nothing to do in range is. So let's throw in a industrial pile there. Go. That's going to be a supply for scrap metal. That's you. Awesome. Right, go then. And what I want to do is build a kind of pathetic. It's really not going to last very long. But it's possibly not better than nothing, but it's something. I don't know how many fractions of a day it will run until we can get access to the discharge, but it's something. Actually, we could be pulling scrap metal out of there if I built that at the flag there, because they can't get down. No, they can't get down. I don't think there's a staircase there. So it should be okay. They're not going down into the soup. So, yep. Let's get rid of that. We may as well get rid of that. Also prioritize building that. Yep. Awesome. It may as well start paying for itself, because it costs to construct, so, you know, you've got to earn your keep, as they say. You need to be built. Let's tackle this little spot, shall we, as we've got some spare beavers at the moment. I think what we could do initially to save the trees, so we can cut down the trees, is put a platform there, and that will allow us to get all of those. So we may as well cut down all of those trees. And then eventually we'll come down the other side as well. But for now, we'll get all of those once we can get to them. That's getting built, or it will now. And yeah, our scrap metal supply is looking much better. Excellent. 17 well-being. You can probably do some more for that pretty easily. So let's have a little look at that, shall we? I quite like these. I feel they are less cheaty than the throw a roof block on the top, doing like a little entrance way. Yeah, I feel they're a little less cheaty. Lanterns are... I kind of don't like that these take up a whole block. Yeah, not a fan of that. The brazier. So they need a block as well, don't they? Yeah. We could drop one there. So they can get it from that. We could put one opposite. Actually, if we put it more intelligently, that's there. Yep. We could have a beaver bust opposite that as well. Let's throw one there as well. Why not? Keep nudging up that well-being. Oh, wow. Wow. They're making good progress on that, aren't they? What about over here? but he is at least ripping into that metal. So, which is probably not a bad thing, because we need to... No, because we probably come at it from a different direction. So we need to be able to get that bad water discharge in eventually. So if we can get some metal from here, then that's good. Yeah. Water supply is holding up nicely from pumping out of here, and isn't really putting too much of a dent in that either, is it? So that's pretty good. Swimming pool is kicking in. Right, they're both done. So let's pause those so they can be emptied. We have got that one, but that seems like quite a trek. But lots of trees over here if we need to cut those down. So we will come over here, I think. And let's prioritize the emptying of that. And let's throw a couple more beavers at this, while we're not pumping excessive amounts of water. And actually now we've got ladders unlocked. Let's rework this. Because we can build a bit of a tower of logs. And work on building up a bit of a stockpile of those. Probably not a bad idea. Oh, we've got canola oil being produced. No one told me that was happening, did they? So let's throw in a canola oil tank. Let's get... I'm going to be going to town with the old ladders now. Storage. Canola seeds. Does that mean we've got eggplants up as well? No, but close. So let's also double stack our eggplant storage. And I think maybe, because you keep pausing, don't you? So we could probably make use of got a lot of building stacked up. That suggestion of a builder's hut was not a bad idea, sir. Let's get rid of those. Builder's hut there. Get rid of those. Builder's hut there. Yes. You go. Let's get rid of both of those. There. Fermented cassavas, corn rations. Bosh, bosh, bosh. I think that's all a good idea. And I think another good idea is housing breeding pod, because the population is not growing as quickly as I would like. Let's throw that in there. Swimming pool's dried out. Not a big deal. We could move it, but I'm not, or we could put in a second one, but I'm not going to. Water dump has kicked in. Trees are spreading, which is awesome. This is progressing really nicely. Excellent. I'm a little bit worried about them being able to build this without me putting in a little tubeway station, but we'll see. We'll see how they get on. And we might have to pump this out or drain it out. Again, we'll see. Before they build that, I'm going to throw that guy there, because I like my automation. So, yeah. Let's prioritize that. We are going to want to also delete, well, no, I want to delete those two. And we're going to put a tank there to store bad water. You can be unpaused now. Because it's going to have to come all the way back here to be processed, obviously. Eggplants. We have eggplants. So let's plant rations. Because we've now got 400 odd corn rations processed. So some of our canola seeds are going to die, but that's okay. Some of the corn's going to die as well. Really not overly bothered until we can sort out the irrigation properly. Which will be pretty soon, so we are getting ourselves into a position where we'll be able to do that. 19 well-being. Bad water set to supply. So you are going to be advanced, attached to stream gauge. You, come on, attached to stream gauge. Right, let's get this set up. So we want to pause below tiny number, unpause above not so tiny number. Awesome, so now I don't have to worry about that. That we want to get built on a medium priority. I wish you could automate this off of the depth of the bad water. 20 well-being. Wow. So we don't have storage for the eggplant rations yet because these haven't been. In fact, there's no storage for eggplant rations in that anyway, so that is something that we need to resolve. We just have so much building stacked up. it is kind of ridiculous, but you know, is what it is. Only so much you can build at a time. Do we have... No, we don't have any empty storages that we can repurpose for that job anyway. So, wow. 21. And we are very close to this, and see whether we can actually get this done. We've got 8 and a bit days anyway, so we could always throw in a tiny tubeway station. Kind of wondering if we did that, whether they'd start building that whilst... I want to see, actually, I want to see if they can do that. So we'll let it roll for now. Awesome, that's done. So let's... we should probably make sure that that guy's prioritized by haulers. Probably need more haulers, but we need more of everything. So, you know, is what it is. We are doing okay. We're doing good for science. So glad I put this in. This just makes science such a non-concern, or at least until we get to the point where we're doing bots and stuff, and you need lots of science, 400 scrap metal. So we should be good to get to where we need to get to. Yep. Even if we can't get to the mine, we should be good to get to these deposits, which should get us to the mine. Yeah. Problem averted, hopefully. Looks like this is working to at least keep this somewhat full. We could always throw a second one here if we do get so that it's not staying full enough. So what's driving our well-being up? Basically all of the little bits that we've done, which is awesome. Someone commented on the showers and them using water. Showers do not use water. You can Google it and you can see there's plenty of stuff, and I've tested it and they don't. So yeah, showers do not consume water. I've got footage for a little video on it if people are interested. I just didn't get it finished, but yeah, done a little bit of testing, and showers do not consume water. I had assumed it was fairly common knowledge that that was the case, but maybe not. So I just did a test to double check, and they still do not consume water. So, and that was built from inside the tubeways, which is awesome. So, yep. We just need to get across here, and then we'll be pretty good. I wanted to come out to clear some trees, which we will do. We'll get those deleted. Probably a slight overkill there. Let's undo the deleting of those ones. We'll just get those few that are in the way. And then we'll go up and over. We are making some pretty nice progress. Decent amount of water. Good stock of food. The reservoir is holding really nicely. Yeah, the water's gone down, but not worryingly so. And by water, I mean water stock levels. We could always throw in another one, but I'm more interested in using this to keep things topped up rather than kind of being able to completely maintain our supply. If that makes sense. So I think Interesting. There we go. Yeah, so you do need to put paths on, so I wonder if that's affecting these. There we go. How are we doing for corn rations? Now I've got storage for the eggplant rations, which is good. The corn rations are still pretty good, so we can get away with the single food factory for now. I'm going to delete this path. I'm not going to delete the bridge because we might need that again, but oh no, it's still attacking. Interesting. Are they taking? Oh no, that one's at that level. There's some more they can take from all around there. Awesome. We'll leave them to keep taking out of that. And excellent, we are across into here. So in fact they've done that, so these can go. Files and structures, Bosch to there, and then we're going to need you probably to there, and another tiny tubeway station. And the reason I'm putting a piece of path there is when I use this in the experimental branch, I always found that I needed a piece of path. It might have changed, but that was my experience of using this, so that's why I'm putting it there. Right, to prioritize those, and then I think what we do is we need the treated planks, so we'll come through to about here, so we'll extend this a little bit further, and then we'll just work on ripping this scrap metal out while we sort ourselves out with some treated planks. So the next thing we need to build is the explosives factory. And I'm going to put it there because we need a one and a 2 high power connection there. So we could put a food factory there which would connect, but I don't want to, so you know. And then you will be paused. And we're going to put in there. No, that's going to look rubbish, isn't it? Because of the way paths join. We'll put there. Explosive storage, and we will put there. Bad water storage. Set to obtain, and you will be set to supply. And you will automate off ingredients. You should pause. Yep. Awesome. Right, back over here. That's done. That's done. So again, we'll delete it. And the tiny tubeway station we're going to put there. We're going to connect that to there. We're going to put that there. That might not work actually. Yes, it actually needs to go down. Put that there. Metal, there and there. Storage. That's not going to work, so we'll just put for now you there. Scrap metal supply. Path there. And that'll get all of those ripped out. Once that's in, we've got 0.6 of a day. I am going to stop this guy so I don't forget. And we're about to be able to start making explosives. So let's unlock this. Yes, thank you. It's about the right spot. Yeah, that'll work. So we'll should move that really, shouldn't I? Yeah. Come on, delete. I'll put that over that. Right, here comes the bad water. Yeah, so we've got nearly 500. So I think at this point we could think about putting this in. The bad water discharge, I mean. But we might want to wait for a drought to build it now. And here we go. So you're going to be prioritized by haulers. That's working just fine. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. The alternative would be we bridge across here, build it from the top. If we came across there, deleted that tree. And we've got the 4,000 science, both on metal. We just need to make the dynamite. And then, yeah, we can access it from around there. I think that's the way to do this. And then we have permanent power. And access to 100% clean bad water all of the time. We did this enable. I'm just going to stop that. Oh, it's being crappy. There we go. Actually, we will automate products. And there we go. Explosives are being produced. Scrap metal being scrap metal. So what we might, actually there's a lot of scrap metal over here. What we might want to do as a last activity, if we can get over to it easily. I don't know if we'll be able to actually. I guess we could block it here, couldn't we? There is no reason to say, no rule to say that the basketball can't be played by a dog. Just wondering if I did that. Yeah, it would back up a bit in there, potentially. But all things being equal and dogs' abilities to play basketball, that should work. And allow this to start drying out, which is kind of what we need. So we'll just get this done so we can check that it's not going to have any unintended consequences. And I think we will be in a pretty good spot, to be honest. The bad water's flowing. Explosives are being made. The power grid is still more than adequate. We're into our new pretty thick vein of scrap metal. We do want to make sure that this gets placed actually, so that we can start those going. Forgotten about that. So much to do, so little time. I was just thinking, why isn't the explosives going into here? But we do want to set up our little irrigation jobby. And this jobby. So that seems to be okay. Doesn't seem... Let's just check. Downstream. No, nothing. I mean, it rejoins back largely where it was anyway. So that doesn't seem to have been too disastrous. And that means that can start drying out while we are stripping all of this out. So I think that works. I think it works pretty well. And we can just plan around this before we wrap things up. So let's do that. Water, fluid dump, you, there we go. That'll do. Not perfect, but it's good enough. And then pine trees. And probably we don't need to go nuts with the pine trees for treated planks. but you know, let's get ahead of things with those. So yeah, awesome. Oh, I didn't set up the time lapse camera. Oh well. Pretty successful today, I think. Minor disaster averted with the metal. We've got explosives flowing. Yeah, I'm happy. So thanks for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. That's getting put in rather quickly, which is awesome. And yeah, I will see you all next time.